the candidature of President Uhuru Kenyatta in 2013. Now, the man who made those claims is right here in studio with me. Those are very damning allegations, sir. What did you mean by he was paid, by whom and how much?
Well, these are demands for payment which he didn't only make on TNA that time, but he made them on ODM previously. So there's nothing new about that.
So how much, who made the payments?
Well, a lot of people who supported President Uhuru went out of their way to collect this money and to make Ruto come on board.
Do we know how much?
Well, you know, for a man who says 7 billion is only, your guess is as good as mine, but it was in billions.
It was in the billions?
Yes. And that's nothing surprising. I mean, we have a very senior politician from Western Kenya who asked Right Honorable Raila Odinga for 900 million before he could give him support. It's almost in the public domain. So that is the currency of some of these politicians, and Ruto is one of them.
Tell me something. This payment was in return for what?
Well, they would clothe it in various ways, like I need that money so that I can go and convince my community or I can convince my constituency. But it was colossal amounts of money. It was like the upfront payment. Then the final payment is through grabbing certain ministries, making sure that finance, making sure that agriculture, making sure that infrastructure. If he didn't have the minister, he had the permanent secretaries, and then he went on a looting spree.
The question everybody would be asking right now, the obvious question is, why come out now and tell us this?
It is 12 days to an election, and Kenyans need to know the truth.
And the truth, once again, is William Ruto was paid to support Uhuru Kenyatta.
Yes, and I don't know why he thinks that the people from central Mount Kenya area owe him anything, because he was paid off. It was conditional on him receiving this money in advance, and after that, getting certain key ministries, which is okay if he ran them properly, but he made sure that he was in a looting spree, that's all.
And how do we know this is not just sour grapes? You know, you're out to destroy the reputation of Deputy President. Well, how do we know this?
Well, does he have a reputation? I mean, you just have to look at the Muteshi land, Western Hotel, Kenya Pipeline land, Ngong Road, Taveta Critical's land, Arorkio Marer, where he talks about only 7 billion lost, Uhuru Gardens, which everybody knows, he was occupying it. I don't know what reputation you have to talk about Ruto, really. And in fact, I'm even wondering why I made this statement sometime early this morning, and everybody was saying, is it true, is it true? I mean, is it beyond Ruto to do those kind of things, given what he has done in this country?
And the other question people will be asking is, what kind of evidence do you have? What kind of evidence do you have? Do you have hard evidence?
Yes. If it is necessary for me to repeat this in a court of law, I will, because I know I have the evidence. And it is not only me who has the evidence. Do find out from a lot of people in our circles. They'll tell you that there was no way Ruto was going to give anything for free.
And who actually made the payment? Do we know? You said there were well-wishers, right?
Yeah, well-wishers, people around, good supporters of President Kenyatta, who negotiated the deal for him to be able to support President Kenyatta. It wasn't for free.
The president was also part of the payment? Did he pay him as well?
Well, I won't talk on behalf of the president. You can ask him.
Those are some serious allegations, you know, with 12 days to the elections, huh?
Well, I think that it's not out of character. It's not out of character. I mean, look at the kind of things that he did. I mean, the moment the handshake took place, many of us in government breathed a sigh of relief, because previous to that, he was always blackmailing the president. He was controlling parliament through Duale, and of course, the speakers were on his side. The speakers were on his side. Am I lying? Those speakers are now in UDA.
But tell me something. Why would Uhuru agree to work with someone like this who, you know, who was literally blackmailing him? Why would he agree?
Well, I think sometimes you have to accept that President Uhuru was between a shark and a crocodile. On one side was Ruto, and the other side was Raila Odinga. why they were going to eat him up. So he had to choose whose bite is not so bad. And if the bite of Ruto could make him survive, then naturally, if I was President Uhuru, I would compromise with a person like that, but bitterly so, because you know that he's not an honest person. And that's why really, talking about Ruto leading this country is disaster. I mean, given the kind of scandals that he has, given the kind of, all the theft that are in the public domain, how is he going to even negotiate with the international community, say, to give us a loan for something, say, to reschedule the loans? The whole country will be in a very, very precarious situation when that is a man who we front as a person who can negotiate for us in an international marketplace where the economies are really going down.
Yeah.
He has no clout to do that because his character is in doubt. This is not an election about manifestos. Manifestos, you can write anything you want to write. There was something in the manifestos called a laptop. I don't need to go there. So it is not about manifestos. It is about the character of the man we're dealing with. And surely all these things that we talk about, in fact, the other day I was trying to count the number of scandals and improprieties that he was involved in. It was about 28, 29. I've just talked about 6, and Kenyans are tired.
Tell me something. If the vice president the deputy president hadn't fallen out with his boss, the president, would we ever have heard any of this? Would this have come out?
Well, I think that you can tolerate up to a point. But really, given the kind of blackmail that he was putting us through, given the fact of Arorke Marer, he had Rotich in treasury, and these payments could be made, and land was compensated for, which they bought themselves, and then from the people, and then multiplied the price 10 times, or I don't know how many times, and the money was paid to them. A point reaches that even the president could no longer tolerate it. And that's why, everybody wonders what happened so that President Uhuru Kenyatta could reach out to one Raila Odinga, with whom he had competition before twice, and very bitter ones. It was better several times to work with an honest Raila who would be ready to work with him without demanding anything in his government, support him in parliament. ODM was now voting for President Uhuru's party, Jubilee Party, instead of Ruto, who at every possible corner, he blackmailed the president. He used the speakers. He used Duale. He used Ichungwa.
Bottom line, was Jubilee, I guess, birthed on the basis of corruption and blackmail? Is that what you would say?
Well, it was a dream to bring the country together. But Ruto's dream was different, to use the numerical advantages of the Gema nation combined with the Kalenjin nation to establish a hegemony of the two communities. And it was not going to work for long. We are a country which was almost on the brink of breaking up. People were publishing maps in the newspapers of what was supposed to be North Kenya and South Kenya. But he was not big enough to even consider reaching out the aisle, reaching across the aisle for the purposes of bringing the country together. All that Ruto has been interested in is his pocket. In fact, I sympathize with the young people who he promises that he'll, atatenga 100 billion. Anytime you hear Ruto saying atatenga, you should ask him what is his commission on this one.
Tell me something. Is the giver equally as guilty as the receiver?
Yes, from a theoretical standpoint. But if you're rushing your child to hospital and the policeman stops you on the way and insists that you give them 200 shillings and your child is very sick, what do? Do you insist that you go to the police station and sort it out, or you take your child to hospital?
It's a very sensational story, very sensational allegations. 12 days to the election, sir. We'll We'll have to dig deeper into that.
I think you should dig deeper into it. And I think the thing is that, I mean, it is not beyond Ruto. It is not beyond Ruto. I mean, given all the other scandals he has, I'm even wondering why anybody is doubting that. I mean, this man can start talking that, of course, he doesn't beat women. But we know women he has beaten and broken their hands and had to go for treatment in South Africa. I don't want to go into those personal issues.
Yeah. He's not here to defend himself. We'll have to look for him for that.
Yes.
Raphael Tuju, Executive Director, Azimio Coalition, good to see you.
Thank you.
Well done. Thank you so much for your time. At the same time,